Thank you, Senator Cruz. They asked Winston Churchill after World War II how he thought history would treat him in his conduct of the war. He said, "I'm not worried about it because I plan on writing that history," which he did. Today we see an example of written history, revisionist history, from the chairman with a statement that he just made about concern over the safety of federal judges. I cannot remember a single instance of what he just described, not one, when there were protests and demonstrations before the homes of judges, regardless of who appointed them, Republican or Democrat. Our feeling was they're all entitled to a guarantee of safety to the best of our ability. And that's what I did as chairman of this committee, and I hope that I believe I spoke for the Democrats in that approach. The title of this hearing says a lot. In full, the supposedly least dangerous branch, District Judge versus Trump. The idea being pushed by my Republican colleagues is not only that judicial branch and district judges are dangerous, but they are dangerous for the plain and simple reason that some judges have had the audacity to rule against President Trump. When the chairman from Texas starts talking about the number of times there's been ruling by the court, I have 3 words for him: flood the zone. Flood the zone. When Steve Bannon was asked, what's the policy, what's the strategy of the new Trump administration, we're going to flood the zone, and they did. More executive orders issued by this president in the beginning of his presidency than any president in history, leading to more court challenges than any president in history. It seems pretty logical to me. By framing the hearing as they have, my Republican colleagues have shown their hand. This hearing is not really about policy or legal issues. Instead, it's about challenging the authority and legitimacy of the judiciary. They are showing their undying loyalty to their leader, the president. This hearing is merely the latest episode in an ongoing effort by President Trump and his allies to undermine the judiciary and intimidate judges who dare to rule against them. In March, the president demanded the impeachment of a federal judge simply because he ruled against his administration, calling him, quote, and I quote, I want you to hear these words, "a radical left lunatic, a troublemaker and agitator." In May, President Trump referred to judges who ruled against his administration as, quote, "communist radical left judges." 2 days ago, the president posted, and quote, "if the courts somehow rule against us on tariffs, which is not expected, that would allow other countries to hold our nation hostage with their anti-American tariffs that they would use against us. That would mean the economic ruination of the United States of America," end of quote. These statements that I've just read are not normal. It is difficult to imagine either President Bush, President Obama, or President Biden using such unhinged, bombastic, and childish language, or calling for the impeachment of a judge simply because that judge ruled against his administration. The reason it's difficult is because Obama, Biden never did anything like this. But imagine if they had, and how congressional Republicans would have responded. They would have shouted about it from the rooftops, posted furiously on social media, and the only person they would have considered impeaching would have been the president himself. But because this president is a Republican, because the president and his allies go after anyone who dares to speak up, because fear of political retribution is now at the core of this MAGA world, my Republican colleagues have been silent as the president has made the statements he has about judges. Instead of rushing to defend the judiciary and our system of government, they are rushing to defend the president. While my colleagues on the other side may try to make it appear as though decisions of district courts against the president are somehow dangerous, in reality, it's the attacks on the judiciary itself that are dangerous, to both the rule of law and to the actual judges themselves. I could go through chapter and verse of federal judges who have been intimidated physically. In fact, deaths that occurred in the Northern District of Illinois. One of my judges, she's now retired, lost her husband and her mother to a litigant who attacked her in her home. It's serious. I don't think it's a mere coincidence that this spike in violence against judges coincided with increasingly harsh rhetoric against the same judges and the president's personal call for the impeachment of a federal judge on March 18th. Some judges and family members have received threats in the form of hundreds of anonymous pizza deliveries to their home. Pizza deliveries? These deliveries are an effort to demonstrate that those seeking to intimidate a targeted judge know exactly where those judges live. Nearly a month ago, I sent a letter to the Attorney General Bondi and FBI Director Patel, asking them to investigate this effort with the pizza deliveries and other threats against federal judges, and to provide information on steps they're taking to protect those judges and their families. I did not designate just Democratic appointed judges or Republican appointed judges, but all judges. Showing the priorities of this administration, I'm sorry to say, I have yet to receive a response from either the Attorney General or the Director of the FBI. In the meantime, I ask my Republican colleagues to join me. Let us recognize that violence begets violence. Threats of violence, whether from the right or left of the political spectrum, are never, never acceptable. People are welcome to debate the merits of any particular judicial decision, but we cannot condone personal attacks and threats against judges who rule against this administration. And we can't allow partisan politics or the latest outrage from the president to undermine the judicial branch and our constitutional order. I yield.
Mr. Chairman.